23. A Night in Reality. Jackie's POV. No. No. The ear-piercing scream jolted me awake, my heart pounding. My eyes snapped open, and all I could hear was more and more gut-wrenching screams coming from a girl. No! She screamed again. That can't be my voice. The source of the scream made me glance down in confusion, wondering if my voice had somehow changed into a woman's. But then my gaze landed on the girl whose head was resting on my lap. Her eyes were still shut. She was still asleep. What the hell is going on? Why is she screaming like that? Is she having a nightmare? No, 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 she sobbed. Her cries were so agonizing that I couldn't help but think, if someone outside my duplex heard this, I'd surely be in jail. Jesus Christ, my eyes widened in horror. That thought alone sent a shiver down my spine. Without thinking, my reflexes took over, and I placed my palm over her mouth, trying to muffle the noise. Lavanya, I whispered urgently. Please, wake up. I called out to her with all my heart. You're having a nightmare, love. Please wake up. I shook her gently by her left shoulder. And then her eyes snapped open, wide and frantic. Thank God. I sighed in relief.
Lavanya's POV. I blinked several times, still disoriented. But he was there, staring at me. Those same cyan blue eyes. Only this time, they weren't dripping with lust. They were filled with horror. His face was taut with fear, though it seemed to be coming from somewhere deep inside him. Was something wrong with gravity? Or was it my brain? I blinked again, realizing then that his palm was still pressed against my mouth. My gaze shifted upwards to find a ceiling fan spinning sluggishly. When I looked back at him, it dawned on me. We were on his sofa and my head was resting on his lap. What the hell is going on? How did this happen? Motmar Mumdin? I shouted, but my words came out muffled and unintelligible. Stop screaming, love. Do you want to get me arrested? He hissed through clenched teeth. Meet Magom of me, I protested, shaking my head left and right in an attempt to dislodge his hand from my face. Seriously? Did you forget you have two hands? My inner voice mocked. Oh, right. Remembering I had control over my own limbs, I grabbed his wrist, pried his hand away from my mouth, and flung it forward. His hand landed on my right thigh with a sharp slap. Ouch! He winced. I quickly pulled myself away from his lap, sitting up on the couch. Instinctively, I spread the stole around my neck to cover my torso. Turning to face him, I sat on the sofa in a formal Japanese-style posture, glaring at him. How dare he touch me? What were you doing? I demanded furiously. What the hell were you doing? He shot back, looking at me with utter disbelief. He shifted on the sofa so that we were now sitting directly across from each other, face to face. What do you mean? I asked through gritted teeth. I mean, you scared the life out of me. That's what I mean. He snapped. Why did you put your hands on me? How dare you? I shouted. Whoa, whoa. You were screaming like a mad woman, for God's sake. He retorted. And what exactly is that supposed to mean? I demanded, still not understanding his point. I have no idea what got into you just now. You screamed like... Gosh. He paused. You've completely shattered my eardrums. Jeez. He placed his palms over his ears, as if to shield them from further assault. Such a drama queen. Was I dreaming? I murmured absently. Ask yourself that. You nearly got me thrown in jail. He rolled his eyes before burying his face in his hands, looking utterly exhausted. I frowned. I forced my conscious mind to retrieve the unconscious fragments of my dream. After a few moments of silence, it all came rushing back. Oh, right. My weddings. The words escaped my lips before I could stop them. What? His head snapped up, frowning at me. Oops. I bit my lower lip, suddenly unsure of what to say next. Your wedding? He hesitated. Oh, you dreamt about your wedding? His expression was utterly flabbergasted. By the way, what kind of wedding was it that made you screech like that? He demanded, but I didn't answer. Must have been a pretty violent one. He mused, tilting his head slightly. Then his eyes widened as realization struck. Wait. You said weddings? He repeated, emphasizing these in shock. Oh dear. I parted my lips slightly, showing my teeth, though it wasn't exactly a smile. He blinked rapidly, his mouth agape, as if struggling to process what he just heard. Did you just say my weddings, Miss Lavanya? He asked again, narrowing his eyes. I quickly shook my head. So you had more than one wedding, didn't you? He pressed further, his expression slowly morphing into something mischievous. That's why you screamed, he suggested, and I swallowed hard. This American monster is far smarter than I gave him credit for. Tell me, love. He coaxed, shifting slightly towards me, his voice dropping to a husky tone. Love? I can't allow him to call me that anymore. Not after what I saw in my nightmare. That was not a dream. And stop calling me that. I snapped, turning my face away. Was I there? He asked suddenly, and my mouth fell open. How did he guess that? He must be reading my mind. Why would you be in my dream? I stammered, avoiding his gaze. Then, who was your groom? Or should I say grooms, since you mentioned weddings? He teased, and I felt my breath hitch as I struggled to keep myself calm. I cannot tell him. I am not talking about this anymore, I declared, desperate to steer the conversation away. He burst out laughing, leaning back on the sofa. Hesitantly, I glanced at him, watching as he squeezed his eyes shut, rubbing them with his fingertips. Unknowingly, my lips twitched at both sides. How foolish can a girl be? Well, here I am. I shook my head in disbelief, smiling to myself. Come on, tell me. I want to know how many weddings you had, he demanded between laughs. How many grooms were there and who were they? Sir, please stop, I pleaded, but he only laughed harder. I rolled my eyes. Well, a very good morning to you too, I muttered, burying my face in my hands. Okay, what time is it? He finally asked, trying to stifle his laughter. I glanced up at the clock. It's only 4:20 a.m. Girl, you woke me up too early, he grumbled, gesturing at the wall clock. My mouth fell open as I glared at him. That was unintentional, I defended, looking away. Well, have you done anything intentionally yet, Miss Lavanya? He remarked sarcastically. What is that supposed to mean? I snapped, feeling a surge of irritation. Nothing. He dismissed the conversation, getting up from the sofa. I frowned. This man is impossible to understand. Do you want to use the washroom? He asked, tilting his head slightly back and motioning his index finger upwards. I nodded. Then hurry up, he ordered. I stood up quickly and made my way upstairs, passing him. As I reached the landing and turned right to climb the next set of stairs, I glanced down. He was watching me blankly. I ignored him and continued to his room. The house was still enveloped in darkness. It was too early for daylight. I turned the doorknob and stepped inside. The first thing that hit me was his scent. It lingered everywhere, filling the space like an invisible presence. His king-sized bed, draped in a white sheet, sat in the middle of the room. His phone lay abandoned on it, along with his half-damp clothes from the night before. I shook my head. Men are the same everywhere. I glanced to my left and spotted the bathroom door. Thankfully, the washroom was neat. I splashed my face with cold water and freshened up. As I reached for a towel, my eyes landed on a bottle of mouthwash sitting on a shelf under the mirror. Should I use it? He uses it. But I can't go out like this, and I don't have my toothbrush with me. I hesitated for a moment before using my finger to brush my teeth with his toothpaste, an American brand called Hello. I followed up with the mouthwash and then used his towel, as I had no other option. Stepping out of the washroom, my gaze fell once again on the messy pile of clothes on his bed. I wasn't sure why it bothered me so much, but being a naturally organized person, I couldn't just leave them there. With a sigh, I picked them up and began folding them. "What are you doing?" A startled, girlish squeal escaped my lips as I spun towards the voice. In the dim light, I could only make out the silhouette of a tall man standing in the doorway. But there was no mistaking who it was. "You scared me," I exclaimed, placing a hand over my chest. "You were taking too long, so I came to check." His tone was casual, but then his expression shifted. "But my question is, what the hell are you doing with my clothes?" His frown deepened. Nothing," I lied, hurriedly tossing his clothes back onto the bed. That was the best response I could come up with. Then I saw him step forward, shutting the door behind him. Oh no. Slowly, very slowly, he advanced, each step deliberate and intimidating. My heart pounded as I turned my head left, frantically searching for an escape. But before I could react, he was already standing beside me. "What were you doing, Miss Lavanya?" he asked, his voice low and intense. "Folding," I blurted out as if hypnotized. "My clothes? Why?" "They were half wet and they were on the bed, so I thought I'd put them somewhere else." He paused for a moment before speaking again. "Thank you, but Jamal takes care of those things. You don't need to do that." I know, sir. I'm sorry. I just can't stand mess. I have a terrible habit of organizing things," I admitted, explaining my mild OCD. I see. So that was bothering you." He sighed. "But you're not supposed to do that. Now leave. I want some privacy," he ordered. "Stupid. Did you forget this is his bedroom?" My inner voice chided. "Oh, yes, sir." Nodding rapidly, I turned to go, but my face collided straight into his chest, and both of us let out a startled hiccup. I shifted slightly to the right to step around him, only to bump into him again. Did he move to his left at the same time? Frowning, I adjusted my stance and moved to the left, only to crash into him once more. "Oh God, what is happening?" By the 8th attempt, I rolled my eyes and looked up at his face. "Sir, please stay where you are." As the early dawn light streamed in through the window, it illuminated his face just enough for me to catch the playful smirk curving his lips. Wait, was he blocking my way on purpose? I stared at him, and he held my gaze without looking away. "Good morning, love," he greeted smoothly, winking. That snapped me back to reality. "Yeah, I'm going," I mumbled, lowering my eyes and stepping aside. Slipping out of the room, I gently closed the door behind me. Letting out a deep sigh, I descended the stairs and settled on the sofa to wait. He's taking too long. Sitting alone in this duplex felt strangely unsettling. After nearly half an hour, my patience wore thin. Pushing off the sofa, I hurried back upstairs. "What is he doing in there?" "Mr. Dawson," I called out, standing in front of his closed door. "Mr. Dawson, are you still in the bathroom?" Pressing my ear against the door, I tried to catch any sound. Silence. Did he reply? Why can't I hear his voice? Mr. Dawson? Grum. Came a low groan from inside. I froze. Was that a groan of pain or shut up you? My eyes widened at the thought. Gulping down my nerves, I knocked at the door. Mr. Dawson, are you okay? I asked, my concern growing. I'm in heaven, came his muffled reply. My eyes widened even further. What on earth is he doing in there? What? I frowned. Leave me alone, love. His voice sounded oddly restrained, almost as if he was speaking from inside of us. Sir, it's been half an hour and you haven't come out, so I came to check, I explained. I'm fine, he replied. Fine? Then why aren't you coming out? Because I don't want to. Now please go. What? But what am I supposed to do? I mean, I was alone down there. It's scary in the dark. A few seconds of silence passed before he finally spoke. The door is open. You can come in. Hesitating for a moment, I slowly pushed the door open, only to be met with a sight that was utterly unbelievable. My mind was about to explode. You're sleeping? I shouted in disbelief. There he was, sprawled diagonally across the bed, his face turned to the right, eyes closed in complete peace, fast asleep on his stomach. He murmured in response. You came here to sleep and left me alone down there? I asked, furious. He clicked his tongue and replied, You woke me up early. I'm just catching up on my sleep. How could you do that to me? What do you want, Miss Lavanya? I don't want to be alone down there at this hour. Then come, join me, he said, patting the empty side of the bed with his right hand. What? How dare he? What does he think of himself? I was now fuming. Without saying another word, I slammed the door and rushed downstairs. But in my hurry, I slipped halfway down and lost my balance, tumbling down the staircase with a loud crash. My head slammed against one of the side walls, all of it happening in the blink of an eye. Ah! I cried out in pain. My vision began to blur and fade, and then everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on his bed, with him staring at me, a frown on his face.
Jackie's POV. Do you want to use the washroom? I asked, and she nodded. Then hurry up, I commanded, and she hurried upstairs. I couldn't stop staring at her as she climbed the stairs, her eyes flicking to mine for a moment before she continued up. I sighed, rolling my eyes. She's too slow and I'm way too tired. I waited for more than 10 minutes. What is taking her so long? She must be taking a hot shower in your bathroom, my inner voice teased. Shut up, you dirty mind. I walked back and forth, growing impatient. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore and rushed upstairs. The door to my room was half open. I pushed it open fully and saw her dark silhouette standing by my bed, holding my used shirt. What the hell is she doing? I watched her for a moment, trying to figure it out. Oh, she's folding my clothes. Shh, but why? What are you doing? I asked, frowning. Ah, she screamed, and I jumped back in surprise. What the? She really loves to scream. I shook my head, rolling my eyes, as she turned her head toward me, but it was still too dark to make out her expression. You scared me, she accused, clutching the stole that was wrapped around her chest. Yeah, right. It took you too long, so I came to check, I explained. But my question is, what the hell are you doing with my clothes? Nothing. She quickly tossed my clothes back onto the bed. I couldn't understand her mood. What she was thinking or what she was trying to say. I couldn't even read her face, so I moved closer to her, closing the door behind me. I wanted to see her face, her eyes, her lips, so I could understand what was going on in her head. She turned her head again, avoiding my gaze. I bet she was too nervous. I stood beside her, not saying anything. What were you doing, Miss Lavanya? I asked again, my tone deeper this time. Folding? She stammered quickly. My clothes, why? I pressed. They were half wet, and they were on the bed, so I thought I'd put them somewhere else. Her voice was shaky. Sweet and thoughtful. Thank you, but Jamal takes care of those things. You don't need to do that, I said. I know, sir. I'm sorry, I just can't stand mess. I have a really bad habit of organizing things. Mess? She called my room a mess? Smiling to myself, I said, I see. So that was bothering you. She let out a sigh. But you're not supposed to do that. Now leave. I want some privacy, I ordered. Oh, yes, sir. She nodded rapidly and turned to leave but bumped into my chest, both of us making a strange sound. This girl is impossible. I rolled my eyes, shifting a little to the left to give her space, but again, she bumped into me. Unfreaking believable. I couldn't help but show my annoyance. When my eyes landed on her face, now visible in the dim sunlight streaming through the window, I noticed she looked nervous and confused. Her head was down, avoiding my gaze as she tried to find her way out. I smirked at the thought of irritating her further. Let's have some fun. She shifted to the right again. So did I, but this time intentionally. She bumped into me once more. I continued to block her way, making bump into me repeatedly. This feels good. After a while, she finally spoke, rolling her eyes with an irritated voice. Sir, please stay where you are. She looked up at me, and our eyes locked. Good morning, love. I winked at her, and she blinked rapidly. Yeah, I'm going, she muttered and hurried past me, the sound of the door closing behind her. Once she left, I used the washroom and then collapsed onto the bed like a starfish. After a few minutes of blissful sleep, I heard her voice again. Mr. Dawson. Grm, I growled, burying my face in the pillow. Then I heard continuous knocking on the door. Mr. Dawson, are you okay? She asked. What is her problem? I just need 2 hours. I'm in heaven, I replied sarcastically. What? She sounded surprised. Leave me alone, love, I muttered, covering my head with the pillow. Sir, it's been half an hour and you still haven't come down. I came upstairs to check, she explained. I removed the pillow from my head and replied irritably, my jaw hardening. I'm fine. Then why aren't you coming outside? God, this girl. Because I don't want to. Now please go, I shouted, feeling annoyed. What? But what will I do? I mean, I was alone down there and it's, scary in the dark, she complained. Is she serious? Letting out a deep sigh, I spoke again. The door's open, you can come in. A few seconds later, I heard the door slowly creak open. Then silence. You're sleeping, she shouted suddenly. Why is she shouting? I hummed in response. You came here to sleep and left me alone down there? She asked, angry. Clicking my tongue, I replied, You woke me up early. I'm just finishing my sleep. How could you do that to me? Jeez. What do you want, Miss Lavanya? I don't want to be alone down there at this hour, she declared. Great, and that's a problem. She's totally overreacting. Then come, join me, I said, patting the empty side of the bed with my right hand. A few moments of silence followed before I heard the sound of the door slamming shut, and my eyes flew open. What the hell is her problem? I buried my face back into the pillow, but then I heard a loud sound, a noise like multiple cartons falling from a height. Ah. The painful screech made my eardrums feel like they were being torn apart. Shit. What happened? I jumped out of bed, rushed to the door, and hurried downstairs. Just as I was about to step down the first step, I saw her lying halfway down the staircase in a strange position. Her head rested against the wall, her eyes were closed. Her right hand was on the floor, and her left hand was resting on her lap, while her legs were sprawled on the last step. What the hell? Lavanya, I called out, rushing toward her in a panic. I gently helped her sit up and shook her lightly, trying to get her to respond. Lavanya? But she didn't react. Seeing her motionless, my heart tightened with worry. Without thinking, I scooped her up in my arms like a child and carried her back upstairs to my room. I laid her down carefully on the bed. Hey love, please wake up, I whispered, brushing her cheek gently. I rubbed her palms and feet, but she still didn't stir. Oh God. I clasped her right hand in mine and waited. After a few minutes, her fingers twitched and her eyebrows furrowed. Slowly, her eyelids fluttered open, and I let out a deep sigh of relief. Thank God. She almost gave me a heart attack.